there. Today we're going to talk about the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a huge part of keeping our immune system strong and functioning and moving. So just a little brief overview, and it's a brief overview. The lymphatic system consists of lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes, our tonsils, our adenoids, the thymus gland in front of the heart, and the spleen behind that left kidney. So the lymph vessels function similar to the arteries and veins in that they carry lymph through the system. The nodes filter the lymph and they create lymphocytes, which are white blood cells that work to fight against disease and against infection. So very important for us to get this system moving right now. It's a one-way system that moves things from the feet all the way up to dump everything into the large veins that are just around the neck, sending everything back into the heart to be a part of the circulatory system again. One of the important things to understand about the lymphatic system is that it doesn't have its own internal pumping mechanism. So where our heart pumps all day, every day for us without us having to do anything to make that happen, and where our lungs take in and expel air all day, every day for us, the lymphatic system only gets pumped when we move our bodies. It's the contraction, relaxation of our muscles and the movement of our bones, basically, that stimulate the pumping action of this lymphatic system. So the more inactive we are, the more sluggish that system becomes. And that system is responsible for getting rid of everything that's no longer serving us, the toxins, the waste, etc. So if it's not moving well, those things hang out in the system a little bit. That's when you can feel really stiff, kind of low energy, draggy. Sometimes even you can feel like you have a flu, but you don't have the flu. So today's practice is a self-massage to get that lymphatic system moving. We're going to finish with a breath to stimulate the lymphatic system, but I'm going to video that in a separate post in case you ever have a day where you only have time to do just the breath. But ideally this first time, try to do the two videos back to back. So starting seated or standing, you're going to start with your fingers. We're going to go on the head. So you're going to be sliding the fingers back and forth, and you want to cover every single millimeter of your scalp. Now, most of my previous posts have been about getting the body to drop into that parasympathetic state. That's not the case here. We want to stimulate the lymphatic system. We're trying to get it going. It's actually a good energy boost. So this practice is actually going to get your sympathetic nervous system stimulated in a positive way. So next we're going to come down to the neck. You can start at the side of the throat and you're doing little circular motions. We'll go fairly quickly and travel along the back, all along the base of the skull, but your pressure is quite light. It's not the sort of pressure that you would have if you were going for a massage, like a regular soft tissue massage. It's lighter than that. You're just trying to target just below the skin, basically. So keep traveling down the neck, the back, and the sides of it in that circular pattern. Turn your head to the side, and you're going to drag the hands down and let your hands go past the collarbones. We'll do that on both sides. And we'll do that down the front of the throat. At the face, you're going to circle around the eyes 4 or 5 times. You're going to slide up and down along the cheekbones 4 or 5 times. And you're going to pinch the muscles all along the jawline. Pinch the ears all the way around, up and down a couple of times. And then with light fingertips, you're going to tap. You're going to go up and down your sternum, that breastbone. Up and down a few times. And then you start to travel out along the ribs. We start high, and you're going to come down so that we end up doing the entire rib cage. For women, if you have breasts at a certain point, you're going to have to lift the breast tissue to get underneath. So you just lift and you keep going underneath. And when you get lower down, go around the sides of the ribs as much as you're able to reach. We'll get the back later on. Same thing on the other side. And cup the hands and go up and down the sides of the body a couple of times. cross the hands over opposite shoulders. You're going to lift the elbows on the inhale, drop them down on the exhale. Lift the elbows on an inhale, drop them down on an exhale. We're purposely keeping the movement not too slow because we want to stimulate the system on this one. One last time. And then one arm overhead, you're going to circle in the armpit area. The armpit area is an area rich with lymph nodes. We have lymph nodes everywhere, but there are certain areas where we have clusters, and under the armpits is one of them. And then you're going to circle around the shoulders. So we're going to circle every joint and then go lengthwise along every surface of the upper arm. Circle around the elbow, front, side, inside, back, and then long strokes along the forearm, getting every surface. Circle around the wrist, and then long strokes front and back of the hand. Every single finger, you're going to drag and flick, drag and flick, drag and flick. Every single one. And in between each finger, pinch and drag. Other side, arm overhead, circle under the armpit. Even just getting the arm overhead is a great way to stimulate the lymph system underneath the armpit. So that lateral breath that I had shown you a few days ago, that's a very good one to get the lymphatic system moving. Bring the arm down, circle around the shoulder, long strokes along every surface of the arm itself. Circle around the elbow, long strokes along the arm itself. Circle along the wrists, long strokes around both parts of the hand, and then pull and flick every single finger, and then in between each finger. I'm going to stay seated for the camera, but to do the lower extremity, feel free to go up higher. So we're going to circle around the belly. Right around the solar plexus is another area that's rich. Inner thighs and the groin, that's another area. It's actually better to have this part open, so if I were on a higher chair, I'd want my hip open a little bit more, or I could do it in standing. Go down all parts of the thighs, front, side, inside, and back. Circle around the knees. On the inside of the knees is another area that's a good cluster. So if you're seated like I am and reaching your feet is not an option, then you can just start to curl the toes and point and flex the feet. If you can reach your feet or your lower legs, then you're going to keep going by long strokes along the limbs, circling around the joints. As you get to the foot, long strokes top and bottom. If you can reach, drag and pull each toe. If you can't reach, if that irritates your body in any way, it's not necessary. As I said, you can curl and uncurl the toes 4 to 5 times. You can circle the ankles and you can point and flex the ankles. And then also go in between each toe. Same thing on the other side. So long strokes on the lower leg and shin. Circle around the ankle. Long strokes top and bottom of the foot. And then drag and pull every single toe. And once you've done each toe, pinch and pull in between each toe. And then pause for a moment in standing or sitting, eyes closed. Take a moment to just check in. How do you feel? Normally you might feel energized, like a buzzing in your body. That's good. So this is a great practice to do when you first get up in the morning and you're feeling really sluggish from the system not having moved so much at night. So if you find it tough to get going in the mornings, spend 5 minutes doing this. It gives you that little bit of a boost. I actually like to do it in the shower, and sometimes I'll use oils that have certain essential oils in them, and it just gives that extra little something to it. But it's perfectly fine to do it as you're in bed, sitting at the side of the bed. It's also a nice one to use when you get that energy dip in the middle of the afternoon. Often around 3 or 4 o'clock, we get that dip where we feel we need to eat something sugary to give us the boost. Instead, try this 5-minute little wake up and see how you feel. So please stay for the next video, or go and check out the next video. It's called the shh breath, and it's one to stimulate the lymphatic system as well. I normally would do those together. I just wanted to film it separately in case you only had time to do the breath on a particular day. Okay, enjoy.